Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon Geeky Sparkles sitting this one out. She couldn't even be bothered to weigh in on Star Trek again. She doesn't care. We're going to talk about Star Trek Starfleet Academy crashing and burning. So, look, I haven't watched this show. I'm gonna say right up front, I haven't watched this show. The drama around the show is the biggest drama around a streaming show since The Acolyte and every other streaming show that has destroyed its respective franchise, right? I mean, it really is quite a shit show. And there's been a lot of discussion about the right-wing dude bros trying to crash this show. In fact, we had that stupid article we did the other day. Rachel Leichman over at the Mary Sue talking about the dude bros because, all the jocks are lining up to watch Star Trek, right? You know that, right? They're all the Andrew Tate fans. They want to watch Star Trek. Yeah, so they're all lining up. They're all lining up to take a hit. And she had to get in some digs at like Nerdrotic and Critical Drinker and whatever. And that's what the article is really about. She doesn't give a shit. I don't think she gives a shit about Star Trek. She just wants to own the chuds. And nobody's reading this except to point and laugh. That's the same with the show. Nobody's watching this show except to point and laugh. And look, it might be okay. I'm going to be fair. I've had a couple people write me who said the show's all right. I have zero interest in watching it. I have zero interest in this era of Star Trek. I got lured back in by Picard season 3, which was definitely an anomaly. And I'm like, well, okay, that was actually really good because I love Next Generation. I'm like, that actually felt like, something from Next Gen. Cool. Okay, that was all right. And then I started watching Strange New Worlds, and it started okay, but then they started singing and dancing. And I'm like, you know what? Now I'm definitely out. Plus, it doesn't mesh up at all with the original series. I mean, I know this is a new timeline or whatever, but it's just like, yeah, this just doesn't make any damn sense. I'm out. And I think a lot of people are out. Hell, William Shatner seems like he's out. He was actually talking about how he'd gladly take over Star Trek and run it for Paramount. That would be wild. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy. So we're going to talk about the numbers, and the numbers not good. So before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, go out to more.clownfishtv.com. And that's more.clownfishtv.com. This is coming from Comic Book Resources. So just, take a step back. Remember, this is Rachel Leichman being like, the dude bros or mad Starfleet Academy. They're not actually Star Trek fans. It's just like The Acolyte. You're not actually a Star Wars fan if you like original trilogy over this new shit that Disney's doing that George Lucas himself doesn't even like. It's like, just listen to yourself, right? Well, this is coming from Comic Book Resources. Comic Book Resources, which used to actually be a site about comic books and resources for making comic books. And they had quite the forum that I think they shut down because their moderators couldn't ban people fast enough for wrongthink. And they put this out. I was shocked. I thought, this is like, was this like, Phantom Pulse? Is this Bounding into Comics? Is this Cosmic Book News? No, it was Comic Book Resources. It was on Facebook. Star Trek's most controversial show of the decade fizzles out on streaming after just 4 days. Wow. Comic Book Resources, guys. Not an alt-right, quote-unquote alt-right rag. Not a dude bro site. The Star Trek franchise's divisive new spin-off Starfleet Academy got off to a strong start on the streaming charts. Just 3 days later, it already appears to be running out of steam. Yeah, crash and burn. People wanted to see what a disaster it was. See also Velma. And The Acolyte actually had really good viewership, I think, at first, too, because people wanted to see how bad it was. So, they tuned in and they watched it, and they're like, yeah, this really is dog shit, and I'm not going to watch anymore. Per Flix Patrol, Starfleet Academy quickly debuted at number 3 on Paramount's. Number 3? Do they have other stuff that's like new this week? Who knows? At number 3 on Paramount's top 10 TV shows in the U.S. on January 16th. Unfortunately, in the days that followed, it has been on a downward trajectory, quickly slipping to number 6 on January 17th and holding that spot on the 18th. It's experienced a similar fall in other territories, including the UK, where it went from 3 to 5 and later 10th. 4 days later, just 4 days later, on January 19th, it was already in 10th place in the U.S. and dropped off the charts on Paramount Plus globally. Okay, let me reread that. I need to make sure I'm processing this. 4 days later, it was already in 10th place in the US and it dropped out of the charts globally. And this is like the only new show I think they have on Paramount Plus. It's also worth noting that the series, despite being from a hugely popular sci-fi franchise, has not been able to top the charts. That is true. Everybody's checked out from Star Trek. That's what we're trying to get across. Like, nobody gives a shit about this era of Star Trek. It's not Star Trek. It's just not. Again, eventually, occasionally you get somebody like Terry Matalas, who did Picard season 3. You get somebody that actually cares about the characters and cares about the legacy, and it shows, and they make something watchable, despite the powers that be. And this happens at Disney too. Occasionally you get a Mando season 1 and 2. Occasionally you get an Andor, but for the most part, it's dog shit because of the powers that be. They greenlight this stuff. It's crazy. And I hope this whole Kelvin timeline, I hope they just snap it out of existence, because they're not doing any more Chris Pine movies, right? Just delete it. They did it before. Yesterday's Enterprise, right? You can just blank a whole timeline out of existence. Just be like, you know what? We're gonna go back to the future and then go back to the past, so the future it's better. That's what we're gonna do. And then side note, it's really confusing. So we have the Kelvin timeline, right? But then we also have the original Star Trek timeline, which leads to Next Generation. But would Next Generation get blinked out of existence because of the Kelvin timeline? Does Picard not exist in that timeline? Or is the Next Generation, is that the excuse for why Picard season 1 and 2 were so bad? Was the Kelvin timeline version of Picard? It was like Bizarro Picard. I don't know. Anyway, Starfleet Academy seems to be losing its footing on Paramount Plus. The new series has experienced a modest improvement on Amazon channels. What the hell is that? Flix Patrol reports it debuted at number 7. Oh boy, guys. It also maintained the number 1 spot in Germany, where it debuted at number 1 on January 16th for 3 days before dropping to second place. Surprisingly, it improved its position in the U.S. on Amazon channels. I don't know if that's something to brag about. Starfleet Academy's performance on the streaming chart looks like it may have been just as bumpy as the fan reception. The series, created as part of Kurtzman's expanded Star Trek universe, has been divisive amongst fans, with many deeming it to be woke, and overly political. The series, and if you complain about that, you're a dude, bro. The series is set in the 32nd century and introduces a brand new class of Starfleet cadets as they come of age and work to become officers. 32nd century, but they still act like Gen Z from today. That's weird. The series stars fresh faces, and Holly Hunter. I like Holly Hunter. I do. Paul Giamatti's in it. It remains to be seen if Starfleet Academy will be able to turn around its streaming performance or continue falling off the charts. I am betting on the latter. One thing is for certain, fans and critics are divided on the new series. Yeah, they're going out of their way to be like, despite the dudebros and the alt-right Nazis. Yeah, I can't believe they actually said this. New Star Trek series rebounds on Rotten Tomatoes amid review bombing. It's always, like we said before, it's always review bombing if they're going after a show that you like. But if you hate the show too, like Stranger Things 5, then that's just the fans speaking their minds, right? It's so stupid. It's so petty. And I don't think any of these people writing these articles actually believe the shit that they're putting out there. It's word salad to latch on to whatever's trending on SEO to try to get a couple of bucks off of declining ad revenue. That's what this whole thing is about. And it's sad. It's sad to see, because a lot of these people, they're going to be out of it completely. The fans gave up on these websites ages ago, right? That's why their traffic was declining before Google pulled their AI bullshit. Just people stopped, going to these websites. They stopped watching their videos. Collider's a lot of these sites used to speak for the fans, and they don't now. They've become corporate mouthpieces. But yeah, if you don't like Star Trek, it's because you're a right winger and you're review bombing it. It couldn't possibly be because the show is not good. And the marketing for it's been ass too. It's crazy. I'm not even gonna waste my time on it because this whole timeline, these shows will be blinked from existence. So he said from over 500 ratings, Starfleet Academy's audience scores rotten at 43%. 43% critics have praised the series for its humor and tonal shift, but fans still remain divided. The website is full of user reviews, both loving and hating the series. It's a disgrace what's happened to an icon like Star Trek, one person wrote. Another longtime Star Trek fan shared their thoughts, adding, watched old Trek, it's not the same, and that's okay. It's something new and different. I enjoy it. Actually, most of the ones I've seen are pretty freaking scathing. Like, I don't care. Oh, they're going out of their way with the positives now, aren't they? Man, 5 out of 10 is a positive. Kurtzman and Landau seem pulled between wanting to service the ethos of the Trek franchise and the nuts and bolts of a school set comedy in the vein of the sex life of college girls. Almost every aspect of the series' YA side falls flat. So that's what I've heard is very very YA. This, oh, hey, giant freaking robot. How you doing, Joshua? Yeah, he says Starfleet Academy is not Star Trek's worst, but it does ruin every enterprise and glamorize crime. Oh, that's not good. I don't know. I just don't care. I can't even muster up enough give a shit. And again, this is one of these shows where the drama around it, even if the show is okay, even if the show is good, I don't even want to give it the time of day because I don't want to deal with the drama. I don't. I mean, I like reporting on it because it's hilarious to watch this and watch the spectacle around it. This thing is going to come and go. Now, apparently it's already been greenlit for a second season. Now, how that works, guys, is these shows are front loaded because they have all the production costs and everything, right? So they're going to say, hey, we're going to spend, $100 million, $200 million on a show. We got to get our money's worth out of it. You can't spend that much money on like 6 episodes. You're going to have to do multiple episodes, or it could be the 3-card Monty smoke and mirrors way that they do things on streaming, where it's like it's really technically just one season. They just split it up into multiple parts, like Netflix. Like, oh, yeah, those 4 episodes. Yeah, that was the season. And these other 4 episodes. Yeah, that was the season. Oh, look, guys, this show is on the air for 3 seasons, 12 episodes or 13 episodes or whatever it was. That's how they do it. And that's, it's so weird. Like we used to get into it with, the Shiris, the Shira stands, RIP Shira, by the way. It was so wonderful that Netflix booted it from the platform. Well, their deal with DreamWorks was up, but I don't know what's going to happen to that show and who gives a shit. It's been memory hold already. But yeah, I remember these She-Ra people used to attack Geeky and they were like, well, Netflix She-Ra had 5 seasons and the original She-Ra only had 2 seasons. Yeah, those 2 seasons were like almost 100 episodes because it was syndicated. And then Netflix's 5 seasons is like 50 some episodes. 56, I think. 52. I'm sorry. That's because that's they greenlit. Because I think when they greenlit the show, they thought it was going to be on broadcast because that's like 2 full seasons, 26 episodes. And then we went from like 26 episodes to 13 episodes or a season, and now 6 episodes are totally acceptable for a season. And then you got to wait like 3 or 4 years between seasons, but that's what I think is going on. Yeah, I'm telling you right now, the Ellisons, they are big Star Trek fans, because they must be, alt-right dudebros or whatever. They're going to reset all of this. They're already working on a reboot. And in this whole era of Star Trek, the last, 8, 10 years, whatever it's been, that we've had this Kelvin timeline shit, is going to be snapped from existence. It's going to be just a side story, an alternate universe. It never happened. It never happened, guys. We're done with it. We're over it. That's what I think. I don't know. I'm going to wrap it up. Please subscribe. We'll talk later.